sponsored by Sneak Energy.
Patience is important. Patience is good. Patience. Hey up, lads, welcome back to Coyote Racing. Yes, today's subject of the matter is patience and consistency. Hello, Luna. Tilt the camera a bit. You're too adorable not to be on camera. But first, we've really got to get into the real meat of things as to why this video is being made. So over this past year, while I've been taking part in leagues and races online and such, there is one kind of driver that is very irritating and usually gets annoyed the most. Me, really. But on a serious note, yes, you may have guessed it, it is the impatient and most aggressive drivers. Now don't get me wrong, a little bit of aggression is good within races, we like that. It leads to some good fighting and it's great to watch and it's great to experience. But for many people, it can be their greatest downfall. And not to mention, the aggressive driver can be problematic for other drivers as well, because more often than not, they end up taking other people out and it's infuriating. Now, I have to admit, I'm not innocent, because a lot of the time I've been a very aggressive driver and it has cost me big and other people's races big as well. So if you've ever raced against me and I've accidentally taken you out, I'm sorry. So now, I want to draw your attention to this. So this clip was taken from a stream by a fellow YouTuber and good friend of mine, Jimmy Broadbent. So I qualified in 14th, as you can see behind the lovely red and white Porsche coming in for a send on the outside, getting very aggressive. Thankfully I didn't get caught up in the little mess that happened in T1. Nürburgring has a really bad T1, but acting semi-defensive and going straight up on the inside, just dive bombing left and right. We actually managed to move up into 10th place right off the line, so we'd secured 4 places in 3 corners. And then it was just a question of hunting down the pack ahead, and now skipping forward 1 lap. Looking up ahead of Dom Healy's car, my Porsche on the right just went for a send on the outside, and somehow it worked. This is like some of my best aggressive driving that I've done that's actually worked. I was a bit proud of that. So we managed to get up into 9th position, but then Jimmy says this.
In my experience anyway, you can very easily lose the race in the first few minutes if you're a bit too aggressive. You can't win it though.
And as he says that, this happens. I get onto the curb, a little bit of oversteer, I try to correct it, and I take out a poor Audi driver.
That's an example of that there. I think Corey took someone out on the exit, so we've gained a couple of places because of that, up in the top 10. Top 10's our goal for this race, so I'm happy where we are now. Oh, Corey's had contact the guy behind as well. All over the
and
place,
this is
man.
the problem with getting too aggressive on the first lap, especially when it's in an endurance race like this. You cannot get too aggressive.
Oh, heck.
That has to be one of my most embarrassing moments. It was horrific looking back on that. And to the Audi and Porsche driver that I took out, if you're watching this video by the off chance, my bad. I'm sorry. So now, let's see some examples of what patience can do for your race. Alrighty, so we're here at Monza, which is one of the easier racetracks to, well, learn how to get good at. We've qualified 4th, and the race gets underway as we just blast off from the line. Unfortunately, being in the Aston Martin, it kind of bogs down on the line when you get off the line. It's a bit slow on that regard. So we blast down to the first chicane, and as you can see, some cars get a little bit too late on the brakes and go off the course. It is a very easy corner to just crash and spin out, and as you see, the leader got just taken out there, which is really unfortunate because he posted an insane lap time. So we managed to escape all of the conflict and aggression, and we just blast down to the next corner, but I see this McLaren up on my inside, and think, he's going to go for a dive bomb, so I'll let him have the position, don't fight for it, and you can see why. He's just taken out the Aston Martin that was ahead of me. But now we've got some clear space as we just blast down to the net first Lesmo and just try to keep out of trouble as best we can. Now, because of Monza's huge braking zones when they go into chicanes, it just bunches up the field together really hard, and accidents do happen because the corners are so tight. But if you manage to stay out of trouble, then you should be okay for the most part. But anyway, this is a 15-minute race of Monza, which is around 8 laps. drop down a few gears and go into my favourite part of the circuit, because this part of the circuit just flows together so well. And when you get it right, it's just really satisfying. And because we've had some clear space ahead of us due to the first chicane, we've managed to just push a little bit harder and catch up with the Ferrari that was ahead of us, who isn't doing too well, which is very surprising, as the Ferrari does tend to have a good set of straight line speed. As we get a little bit squiffy coming out of the parabolic there, not getting the traction down, but we do actually have a better getaway than the Ferrari.
Come on, slipstream!
Getting into the slipstream of the Ferrari, and we just blast past the Ferrari. Down to the first chicane, you're getting up to about 160 miles an hour. Wait for the 150 mark and get hard on the brakes. Down at the first gear, and we've got the job done past the Ferrari. We're doing good. We're making good progress. And once you get past someone, as Jimmy would say, run away!
The next guy is 3.5 seconds ahead. I reckon we can catch him, because he's also a Porsche, but the Porsche has no go in a straight line, so we should be able to catch him on the straights. But my guess is that he's going to be really handy in the corners. Oh, it's 4.5 seconds now.
So as you can see, we've got our work cut out ahead of us, because we've got to catch the Porsche, who is now 4.5 seconds ahead of us. So we are going to need to push, but we don't want to just over push straight away. We just want to maintain a clean, consistent pace, and most of all, be patient. As we skip ahead a couple of laps now.
I reckon I can have him within the next 2 laps. Just climb, bit by bit, a tenth here and there.
Now, this is where things can go wrong for you. If you start focusing on the gap between you and the car, you're going to just start making mistakes, because your attention is just elsewhere.
We've lost some time there, a lot of time.
And when you see the gap just start to grow again, you start over pushing and getting too aggressive, and then you start losing that time that you've made up. It is a really nasty process. The best thing you can do is just turn the clock off, don't distract yourself, knuckle down and focus on your driving.
I'm starting to push too hard. I feel like I'm losing my concentration. I need to stop focusing on the clock so much. This is what happens during a race like this, is that you start focusing on the gap between you and the guy ahead, and that's all you focus on. You start losing your concentration, your braking points. All of that just goes out of the window because you start focusing on that bloomin' clock so much. I was much better through there, much better.
Another thing that you've got to keep in mind for is cars that are just laying out on the track, which can be very distracting.
I don't know why that McLaren's just sat there on the track like that. It's really distracting.
They can be a pain in the backside because they take your eye off the road ahead and you start looking elsewhere, and anything can happen. So now we skip forward onto the 7th lap. We've managed to regain all of the time that we'd lost because we were over concentrating. As you can see, the Porsche is within our grasp, but we just need to be patient, because no doubt he is feeling the pressure right now. He knows we are catching him like no tomorrow. However, this is the last lap of the race and our last chance to get some ground made up. As we look behind on the Porsche's camera, look how close we are already. But the weapon in our arsenal is that he is going to be distracted by the clock, and he's not going to be concentrating on the road. He's going to be focused on us catching him, and he's going to feel the pressure bearing down on him.
Lap. He's too far away unless I can really pull something out of the hat, or he doesn't do the corners justice at all.
So we go into the first Lesmo, just try and keep it clean, get on the power nice and early, and we're even closer. We gained 0.2 there, but then the inevitable. The Porsche makes a mistake.
Oh, he's off! He's off! Oh, he can't defend from that.
It is clear that the Porsche was feeling a lot of pressure and took too much curb trying to save time and trying to get ahead, but there was nothing he could do because he was too distracted. So now all we have to do is just keep it clean, keep it together, because we are one corner away from winning this race.
Come on! Last lap victory, come on!
Getting the power down, straight down to the parabolic, getting up to about 150, 160 miles an hour. Wait for the 100-meter mark, get on the brakes, get down into second gear in the Aston Martin. Nice and clean around the parabolic, go wide, and just get the power down hard. And there we have it. We are there to claim victory here at Monza.
Yes!
It was a very good result.
Oh. Well, that just goes to show patience. And don't push too hard, like that guy did. And it should come to you, it seems.
And that's why patience and consistency has been key and king so far. But anyway, on to the next race.
Alright lads, we're qualified 4th in this race. I'm not the most handy at Brands Hatch, but I reckon I could do some damage, so let's see what's what. I'm not expecting much because I know the guys ahead of me are really fast.
So as you heard, we're at Brands Hatch, qualified 4th, and we try and get off the line as quickly as possible. But again, with the Aston Martin, it does bog down quite a bit.
I think the main goal today is just try keep up with the little pack up here. Because in qualifying I was a good second off the guy behind me, but I was a good second off all of these guys.
So I do have a confession to make, is that this was my first ever race at Brands Hatch, proper race. I've never really taken the time to learn the track. I mean, I know the layout and stuff, but it is something that you do need to learn. But the main focus at the moment is just to try and keep up with this little pack of 3 that are up ahead, because they are very fast drivers, much quicker than me. So that was the goal. Try and just keep with them, and hopefully they'll start fighting. Again, don't push too hard, be patient. Hopefully one of them makes a mistake. We get down into second gear on the second to last turn. One of the more fun corners of the entire circuit. A lot of the turns in this circuit are blind, and you have to guess where the track goes. Getting a little bit restless over the first corner.
There's not much I can do. These guys are way faster than me.
Now, it is very tempting at this point to just start pushing harder and getting more and more aggressive, but then you run the risk of actually having an accident and going off the track yourself.
The best I can do at this point is just stay consistent and hope these guys make a mistake. Because I clearly don't know Brands Hatch as well as these guys.
It is hard not to feel pressure when you're in these situations as well. You see the Merc go way too deep and he starts squirming.
Oh.
And he's gone.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I'll have that, thank you very much.
So inadvertently, because we held back a little bit, those two started fighting. The Merc made a vital, fatal mistake, and we gained 2 places. But now, we've got to defend from the Honda NSX, which is behind us.
The lap. I say I should stay consistent and hope these guys make a mistake. They do it. This Honda, though, is right up my backside.
Knowing that the Audi had just left us for dead because he was the better driver of everyone in the lobby, we just had to hold on.
I may be slower than him, but I can defend better than him, and he hasn't got as much confidence to overtake me. If I can just hold him off, then I can get a podium at least.
As I'm saying that, the Audi up ahead has been pushing too hard and makes a horrible mistake. And in comes the cavalry. Here, take his first position and just run away.
Well, I'm in the lead.
Now here's the other problem that I've got with impatience.
There's no way I can defend from these two for that long. There's no way. He's already having a look at my inside.
The main problem I have is that I'm going to start focusing on the cars behind me and not concentrate on the road ahead, which is what I should be doing. It is very tempted, but I did think to myself, just do what you're normally doing, because we are actually at an advantage. The Honda NSX has to defend from the Audi, which is driven by a much better driver than he is. So he has to think about overtaking me and defending. So all I have to do is defend, all the Audi has to do is overtake. The NSX is going to be the main pillar to our success in this race. Hopefully. Get down to that corner, get up to 4th gear, then back down to 3rd, go wide on entry, and then just slowly cut in, and then accelerate away as hard as you can. As we skip forward a couple of laps, we're still in the lead, and the NSX is still defending from the Audi, but I'm still defending from behind as well.
Oh! He's got him! The Audi's got him! He's the fastest driver as well. It's only so long before he overtakes me. I can't hold him off forever. The good news is, though, lads, is that I know for a fact these guys behind me are way, way faster than me. But I know for a fact that I'm not making it easy for them to overtake me. I'm going to give them hell. If they're going to overtake me, they've got to flip and earn it. But I'm concentrating on them too much right now.
As we come out of the 2nd corner and get down to the 3rd right-hander, we just take it nice and early, and the Audi tries to follow my line.
Yay! Oh, he's lost it! He's off!
He loses traction and goes off the track, and so we're now at an advantage again.
That means the Honda's going to be up my backside again. I just know for a fact Jardier is going to be looking at this video and thinking, oh, why have you not done that when you're driving with me? And the reason is, Jardier, is because every time I've raced against you and I've been slow is, one, it's either in a car or a track that I'm not comfortable with or I don't know, or I'm just having really bad luck. Because every time I've raced with Jardier, I've always been at the back. And then he sees these videos of like, what? What is this, Corey? Why are you winning? Not to mention the fact that Jardier is also a professional, a pro sim racer. And he has a racing license in real life as well. So no shame in admitting that Jardier is a better driver than me. Not such a slouch mask. Hang on. Where's the Honda gone? Where have they both gone? I was caught up in the moment so much that I've lost track of where they are. Where have they gone? I have a feeling that they have spun off again. The Honda is 11 seconds behind me. What on earth happened? If this does get turned into a video, here's a tip for you. If you find yourself in the lead and your opponent has spun out or they've had an accident and that you are well ahead, that does not mean to lose your concentration or just take it easy. Sure, be patient and consistent, but don't take your eye off the road, is all I'm saying. Because it can easily go south for you and not in your favor. Come on!
So now, all it is now is just try and remain consistent. No need to be patient, because the patient part has already been done. They've made a mistake trying to get past. We just stayed patient, maintaining a clean, consistent line, even though it wasn't as fast as theirs. They spun out and we're still going, and we have now got a 12-second lead. So now it's just a sprint to the finish.
I'm actually pulling away from them both. It was 11.5 seconds ago, about a lap ago. Now it's 12 seconds.
Should also mention that this is a shorter circuit than Monza and takes about 1 minute and 25 normally to get around. So the laps were about 12 laps of this race, which it was also a 16-minute race as well. But now I'm starting to focus on the clock again to my demise, because mistakes do happen. Because I'm constantly wondering in the back of my mind, are they catching up?
Concentrating on the wrong thing.
Only a couple of more corners left to go as we just accelerate up to the final corner, flat out, get down into third gear.
Come on.
Coast it in, get on the power, and just accelerate to the finish line. And that is going to be yet another victory for us. Even though I'm not the best at Brands Hatch.
Lads, we did it. From 4th on the grid to P1, overtaking much better drivers, but most importantly, not making a fatal mistake. Yeah!
Anyway guys, hope you guys have enjoyed watching today's video, and hopefully my so-called guidance has been helpful to you guys, and hopefully you guys can put it into practice, and hopefully it'll help a lot when it comes to racing. Taking a step back for me, as you can see, helped me a lot, got me 2 wins. If you want to see more of these kinds of tips and tricks videos, then please leave a comment below, leave a like, tell me what you think. It really means a lot, and it would really help me as well. Also, one last thing, this channel is sponsored by Sneak. The main sponsors, thank you Sneak for sponsoring. So please use code DOGGO when you check out at sneakenergy.com. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been a pleasure racing for you today. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like. It would really help me a lot. And I shall see you all in the future race. Have a good night, everybody.